Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I Was the Teenage Exocolonist. It has finally happened. Everything is destroyed, which means that our peaceful little life on the colony is coming to an end. It's time for us to deal with, just the most wonderful governor ever who is totally not annoying and totally doesn't sound like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! And also Vace. Enough said about him. But we will get Nomi and Rex, so it kind of cancels each other out. So we might as well just get started. I think I'm going to be doing rebuilding, because I think that gives us... Does that give us engineering? Oh, it gives us toughness and organizing. Okay. I can apply to be a tutor. I don't know. You know, I don't think that tutoring is the most important thing going on right now. The colony is destroyed. But you know, education's always important. Alright, let's just do some rebuilding. The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after another. You still have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger come in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage and recycling. By the time it's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. Deese is on the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles, whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed too. Deese is right. This is pointless. You don't go so far as to sabotage the wall, but you certainly don't contribute. You and Deese drag your feet, sulking anytime someone tells you to work harder. Surprisingly, you don't get in trouble. You're just kids after all. No one expects you to get back to work right away after a huge trauma like losing your home. Everything is destroyed and I'm not helping. But it's my birthday too. Happy birthday to me. The colony's dead. The sun's finally dawned again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon as the wormhole recedes across the sky. Dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of the damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping, like most people. It's hard to find rest, crammed into the classrooms with all the other kids and their families. And every time you close your eyes, you see... You shake your head to clear the memories. You're so tired. It feels like you've lived this life 100 times already. And every time, you have to go through this. It feels so colossally unfair. Why are you being tortured like this? You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Not your blanket. That one's gone. And stare out as the sun rises on the horizon, meager and sickly. Hey kiddo, you hear, and then your mom comes and sits down beside you. Thought I'd find you here. You both sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all the broken glass littering the fields, glimmering like a field of stars. After a few minutes, your mom nudges you with her elbow. So, she says, your first apocalypse, huh? Actually, technically, this is like my 100th apocalypse, but you know what? You're not the one trapped in a time loop. Don't worry about it. She huffs, smiling self-deprecatingly. First one's always the hardest, she sighs. When the first colony was attacked, back on Earth, I thought that was it. Everything my parents told me about, the power of community, all that. I thought they were full of shit, too. She turns and gives you a serious look. It's okay to be sad right now. And mad, too. I'm mad as hell. I want to get out there and rip every goddamn mushroom out of the ground, and that's keeping me going, for now. But that's not going to be forever, Yabby, she continues. Eventually that sadness and rage is going to cool, and you have to figure out how to feel after that. She points at your chest. Hope lives here, she says. It's the human condition. We just don't know when to give up. Your mom squints out into the sunrise. I had to figure out how to have hope too. I needed it. To get on a busted-up spaceship with your dad and launch myself through a wormhole. Hope is why we had you. She smiles. Things work out in unusual ways, Yabby. It just takes time. You watch the sunrise together for a few more minutes. After a bit, your mom pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. From your father and I, she says. Happy birthday, kiddo. You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion, the one your dad made, with the sun on it to represent Earth, was broken during the attack. And all the chaos you didn't even notice, but your parents did, and made you a new one. It's just like you remembered. A similar design, with a wormhole this time, to represent Vertumna. You thank her, and squint out at the swirling wormhole, still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Your mom lets out a dark chuckle and slaps you on the back. What a birthday. Here's to another one, right? You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen, where they've put up temporary roofing with whatever tarps and scraps could be found. The colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne had coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars, life-sustaining but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in stony silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Governor Udicott looks more frail than you've ever seen her, but her eyes remain determined. Last week they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the Stratospheric's destroyed front half into a memorial shrine after everything useful has been salvaged. There's still so much to do. Very much so. Let's rebuild one more time. Just to have something to do. I believe our stress is going to go all the way back up once the colonists arrive, so there's really no reason to relax. Although mourning would get rid of this. Let's mourn. Work has begun on clearing out the destroyed front half of the Stratospheric. The living quarters are among the worst damaged, a maze of twisted metal and abandoned personal belongings. Almost everything is covered in a fine dusting of spark snow, with deeper drifts accumulating in the corners. You almost don't recognize your family's quarters as you explore it with a flashlight on your holopalm. The warm, comforting space you called home for 15 years looks almost alien out of context, but also completely ordinary, in that strangeness, just like every other family suite you've crawled through. You grew up here, evenings with your parents, curled up in your bunk while they laughed and talked into the night, your dad reading to you, doing all the silly voices, your mom, stern and distant as she could sometimes be, relaxing as she walked through these doors and stopped being chief cultivator. Let's look for our belongings. Most of what you find isn't worth keeping, bedding soaked with acidic snow, photos that have been bleached white, clothing you don't care about. Almost everything would serve the colony better by being recycled. You do find something worth keeping, though, somehow. The animal picture book that Deese gave you is still dry and safe under your bed. You open it and flip through the pages. Colorful earth animals leap off the page. Lions, tigers, elephants, animals you've never seen, but you used to pore over them with Deese, imagining what it would be like to have an animal friend. The animals here aren't quite so friendly. You sit on what used to be your bunk and look up at the torn open ceiling. Far overhead, the swirling spark snow seems to blend in with the lilac-gray sky. Everything is perfectly quiet, save the groaning of the ship swaying and settling. It's just you and the memories of the place where you grew up, a place you'll never set foot in again. A rustling from down the hall catches your attention. Tammy pokes her head into your room, her shoulders sagging when she sees you. She's looking a bit better, but she's only recently been allowed to leave the medbay after being injured when the Faceless tore through the creche. Her movements are slow and deliberate as she picks her way across the room. "There you are," she says, sounding a little winded. "Are you okay?" "Oh," she looks around. "This is your quarters, isn't it?" Tammy takes a seat next to you, swinging her feet over the edges of the bunk. You can barely see her in the dim light, but her presence is comforting. My dad used to say that fixating on everything that could go wrong was my way of preparing for it," she says tentatively. "Like I'd worry about everything, so if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised." She stares down at her feet, dangling over the edge. "I guess there's something so big and so scary, you don't even know what you're supposed to be scared of them. I'm not even frightened of what's going to happen next anymore. I'm just tired." You both lapse into silence, content to watch the dust motes drift lazily through the light on your holopalm until it's time to head back. This place isn't home anymore. There's no going back to the way things were. At least we had Tammy to help us feel a little bit better about that. But now it's time to feel stressed out. You're eating in the mess of tents. Mess of tents? You're eating in the mess tents when you hear something rumbling. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack? So soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire! You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structures to gather in the colony square. People are squinting into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurtling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor is gonna land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all? That's not a meteor. That's a ship full of bitches. Except for 2 people. Mars grabs your shoulder. It's another ship, she exclaims. Look, it's another ship from Earth. Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? You stare up, unbelieving at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but soon a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear the whistle of it ripping through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. Oh, whoa! It's an enormous ship coming at you way too fast. The ship's reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throw your arms over your head, and squeeze your eyes shut. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geophonics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. My poor mom and dad, and Cal. You're thrown to the ground from the force of the impact as shrapnel and small rocks zing past your head. It grinds along like some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding places, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The new ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out stenciled letters. Helios. A hatch opens in its side, and silhouettes begin to emerge. Silhouettes with guns. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all the remaining colonists. More soldiers form 2 parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest, and a lone figure strides down the center towards you. Greetings, fugitives from Earth, the man says, spreading his hands wide. A dismayed murmur ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Engineer Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him. I am Commander Lum, he says proudly. As captain of the Helios, I've come to render aid and bring you to justice. I'm gonna try and sneak away. The Helios soldiers have the colonists surrounded and shove you gently but forcefully back into the crowd. Fine. Unicott steps forward out of the crowd. You're not the commander of the Helios, she says firmly. Where's the person I was speaking to? Commander Morikawa. Everyone is surprised. Unicott had been in communication with the ship? For how long? I am captain of the Helios, Lum repeats stubbornly, then adds, according to chain of command, we sustained significant loss of personnel when we went through the wormhole. You can't help but notice that many of the soldiers exchanged looks this time. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander. As the commanding officer, Lum continues, I declare this colony to be under protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth. To be quite blunt, young man, it appears you need us as much as we need you, Unicott replies primly. The Vertumnan colony, such as it is, offers our hospitality to our guests from Earth. Lum opens his mouth, but Unicott cuts him off. Now, there's no need for this posturing. Whatever the purpose of your mission here, you'll soon learn that on this side of the wormhole we are all human. Right now we need each other more than we need mandates from Earth. Unicott turns to the assembled colonists. Effective immediately, I will be stepping down as governor and turning leadership of the council to Lum of the Helios, she says. She smiles genially at him. I hope that will satisfy your craving for justice, at least while we get our feet under us. Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. It's a good thing the colony isn't in such pathetic shape right now, your mom mutters under her breath. If they thought we were a threat, they'd probably just have shot us. Your dad squeezes your shoulder and tells her to be quiet. No one knows how to react. A new governor from Earth? Nearly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers? What does this mean for the colony? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back into the Helios, presumably to talk about the future of the colony. You hope. You track down your friends. So, what do you think about these new people? Mars asks. Hang on, guys. I'm still on the friendship quest. Almost everyone's already at 60. They're just going to boss us around. Tangent nods. They don't live here. They don't know what it's like, and they're just going to swoop in and act like they're better than us. She hugs her arm around herself. Did you see what they were doing to Instance? The entire colony, now twice as many as you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the heliopause, tearing it down and combining it with the Stratospheric's remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the heliopause aren't like any people you've even met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony, or for your future. Mid-quiet. Late quiet. Look at that. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around this new ship, the Heliopause. The new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives. Boys, I was born in space, how am I a fugitive? Together you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunkered garrison. The Stratos Engineering Wing is the only reminder of your old colony. The Heliopause brought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as a rich seed bank and working hydroponics. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. A full stomach, a roof over your heads, and the promise of safety convinces most Stratocolonists to accept the Helios. In turn, the Helios decide that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide they aren't so different, really. There are even Helio children, born among the stars, just like you. After a month of hard work, you and your parents move into your new quarters. You get your own room for the first time in your life. You step out in your very own balcony to watch the new colony, its grounds bustling with so many strangers and strange new ideas. You feel something rising in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope. Excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. Yeah, we have new people to meet. Alright, first let me grab anything I possibly can along the way. Hang on, everybody. Hang on, everybody. Hang on! Everyone wants to talk to me. Let's do the worst first. Hey, Vace. This new boy from the Heliopause is a couple years older than you. He is very handsome, and the missing arm gives him a heroic, battle-scarred vibe. He stands tall and ready for action, even though it's a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. He sees you staring and gives you a curt nod. My name is Vace, Lieutenant Olivacious, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge. And you are? How do you introduce yourself? I'm an explorer. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says, with the air of a boy who's hard to impress. Nice to meet you, Yabby. I hear it's been a rough couple of years for the colony. Lucky thing our Heliopause came along just in time, he continues. Don't worry, we have some of the best soldiers, the very best. We'll keep the colony safe. Are you one of those best soldiers? We train as a team, but... Vace says, then clears his throat. Yes, I've won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual riflery tournaments, even competing against adults, he adds. Wow, you're pretty cool. You act impressed and make some embarrassingly clear signals that you find him attractive. Well, he says, nodding like he understands, aren't you intriguing? Maybe we'll see more of each other in self-defense classes. I hope not, but I do need to befriend you at least a little bit. I want to get you into therapy, my dude. Alright, and according to the wiki, you do like cakes, so take it. Vace regards the gift with curiosity. Cake? He asks. I mean, I appreciate it, but why? It's not like it's my birthday. It doesn't need to be your birthday for cake, Vace. Come on now. Oh, combat 40. Wait, if I put on... Oh, hang on a minute. Let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I challenge you! Vace suggests a classic Helio test of grit, punching each other in the stomach until it gives one you give up or pass out. Isn't that what killed Houdini? It builds character, he says, taping up his knuckles. His biceps glisten menacingly. Did any Helio ever think of putting a piece of metal under their shirt, though? Clang! Vace's punch reverberates through the courtyard and he yowls and cradles his fist. He's surprised at first and angry at his pain, but when you pull the sheet metal from your shirt, he bursts out laughing. I win by default, he snickers. Don't be such a coward, Yabby. Take it like a soldier. Still, you didn't get punched in the stomach, so that's a win in your books. You're just mad that I bamboozled ya. Oh, anemone. I think I can, yes. Egg. A delicious egg for you. This was Calm's favorite food, too. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. But I can train with you again. Nemi suggests you practice some hand-to-hand combat, then kicks your butt in the absolute most literal way possible. She leans over while you're lying on the floor, completely gassed. You okay? She laughs. I didn't go too hard, right? No. Ooh! Nemi doesn't notice you approach. She's focused intently on the document on her holopalm, chewing her nail as she reads the small print. She jumps when she sees you, looking momentarily guilty. Oh, hey, Abby. I was just looking over some stuff. The Helios got all these documents you have to sign if you wanna... She trails off, biting her lip. I'm just gonna sign up to join with the Helios, she says hesitantly. But there's a part where if you're under 18, you have to have a parent's permission just to sign up as a reservist, and... Nemi looks down at the ground and scuffs her shoe in the dirt. My mom's gonna be so mad, she mumbles. So mad, like, she's probably gonna cry and it'll be this whole stupid thing, and... She takes a deep breath. But I gotta do it. I just gotta do something. This is a bad idea, but she's gonna get mad at me. Who cares what your mom thinks? Yeah, Nemi says. You're right. I should just ask her right now and get it over with. Besides, if she doesn't let me sign up, I'm just gonna run into battle the next time the aliens come, and it'd be better if I knew what I was doing. I'm not gonna get caught off guard again, Anemone says, setting her jaw. When they come back, I want to be able to fight with everything I got. No one else has to die like Calm. Nemi gestures angrily to dismiss the holoscreen and puts her face in her hands. She crouches down small, pressing her head against her knees, and takes an anguished breath. Goddamn aliens, she says. Bunch of dumb dinosaur-looking assholes. I mean, I don't think they look like dinosaurs, unless dinosaurs are hot. But you know what? Let's not get into that. You're doing the right thing. She stands up and rubs her eyes. Yeah, I am, she says. I'm not gonna let them take away anyone else. I've already got that covered. Don't worry, just stay away from Vace, even though I know that is useless to tell you. Nomi! You've seen Nomi around since the Heliopause landed. They're around your age and barely 1.5 meters tall, only coming up to your shoulder. You've never seen anyone dress as strangely as they do. Hi! Their voice is high-pitched and quick. I'm Nomi. It's short for nomination. They do a little twirl and a bow. You introduce yourself and ask what they do for fun. Well, Nomi begins, kind of a bit of everything. I like designing outfits and reading manga and learning about dinosaurs and cool xenofauna and robots and aliens and watching anime and playing Laser Fable, of course. Mostly I lately play Laser Fable. It's so fun to play it outside in the great big endless outdoors. Nomi dances in a circle, waving their arms and gesturing at your surroundings. Challenge them! You're on! Nomi helps you install it on your holopalm and explains the rules. Laser Fable is an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you're running around and bumping into each other, and there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers. Combat challenge. Good thing I still have my actual gun on me. What? No, I didn't say anything. What? Yeah, why not? Oh! Right on, friendo! Nomi gives you a high five, and then a couple quick flicks on their gauntlet gives you a kudos for winning. They explain this is how they always play Laser Fable with the kids from the Heliosphere. Except they mostly don't want to play anymore. They say they're too old for this. They just want to be soldiers now. Except Rex. He's still cool. Rex is still cool, and he's a very good boy. The colony's full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see a stranger. It's disorienting. After growing up in a closed spaceship, you never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertumna. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof! He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off you and giving you a wide-fanged smile. Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopause. You think his name is Rex. Hi, hello, wow. Smooth, Yabby, real smooth. He cocks his head at you, smiling. Hi, he says gently. My name is Rex. You managed to get out a hello. You aren't quite sure why he's having such an effect on your ability to speak or even think, but he doesn't mind. You notice he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you could help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job there. For you? Anything. His eyes widen as he winks suggestively and he grins, wiggling his ears and lolling his tongue out like a dog. So adorable. I might just take you up on that, he says. You tell him everything is a bit changed since the heliopause landed, but you think the construction yard is still near command. He thanks you for the directions. I just want to flirt with everyone. Is that too much to ask? You approach Mars, who's deep in negotiations of some kind with Tangent. When Tang sees you over Mars's shoulder, she points and says your name. Thank you, forces of chance and chaos, Tang mutters, slipping away as Mars's attention turns to you. She's your problem now, Yabby. Mars pretends not to hear her. Yabby, she exclaims, you're looking hideous today, darling. Luckily, I'm doing makeovers and fashion advice free of charge. All right, that's the thing we're doing now. Come with me, Mars says, directing you to her room. I've been working on these designs for weeks. They're fresh off the printer, and I'm dying to see how they'll look on a regular person like yourself. Mars's room is a riot of sparkling fabric. My first fashion line is all about dressing for the seasons of Vertumna, Mars says as she ushers you inside. Yellow and angular for dust, airy and pink for pollen, stuff like that. If we ever make it back to Earth, I want to be known as the visionary who brought Vertumna home. That's a great idea. Mars shrugs. I know. Mars indicates the pile of outfits on her bed. Well, what are you waiting for? Chop chop. You try on outfit after outfit, letting Mars scrutinize your silhouette and bearing. She seems genuinely focused on how the clothing performs. Finally, you finish trying on all the outfits. I think the glow jumpsuit is the winner. Go ahead and put it back on, Mars instructs. Then we'll do your hair and makeup. I find it interesting that the glow one is the one that works the best, considering that's when the wormhole is closest, and we're very connected to the wormhole. As you sit on her bed, as Mars pulls out her box of cosmetics. A day look, she asks, or something more bold for nighttime. Something flashy. Mars smiles at you with all of her perfect teeth. Someone after my own heart. Mars does your makeup efficiently, then pulls out a bottle of bright blue nail polish. One more thing, and the look is complete. Mars paints your nails, humming tunelessly while she works. And voila, she says when she's done. I like dressing up for you. Mars doesn't miss your tone and smiles as she caps the bottle of nail polish. Is that so? She says, a voice warm and teasing. What else would you do for me? She bursts out laughing before you can respond. Don't even go there. Your nails are wet. If you mess them up, I'm gonna scream. I won't, I promise. Here's a crystal. I also need to give one to Nomi. And Rex? Hugs incoming! Really? Rex asks, already opening his arms wide. I mean, yeah, sure, of course, obviously, but he embraces you, wrapping you in a comforting hug. Don't get mad at me when word gets back to Vace that you're hanging out with me, okay? Dude's got eyes everywhere. It's a good hug. The kind that makes you instantly just a little more relaxed. Oh, is it because I was flirting with Rex? Dude, I promise that's only to make sure he gets therapy. I know it's a very roundabout way, but it's all I can do. Hello, parents. You catch your parents muttering about the new governor and people from the heliopause. Your mom seems to be upset. The word fascist catches your ear. This might be your chance to ask some of the burning questions you've had. Don't bother. They won't tell you anyway. I know they won't. I've tried in so many timelines. Alright, and the only person left to talk to is Dees. What's up, Dees? You leave the front gates and see Dees talking to one of the senior surveyors. He listens intently to their instructions, and the surveyor hands him a satchel of instruments and claps him on the shoulder before walking away. Dees turns to you. Hey, Abby, he says. He hikes the satchel on his shoulder and gives you a shy smile. It's still kind of weird to be allowed outside the walls. What's the weirdest thing you've seen? Dees looks up at the sky with a thoughtful look. There's this big rock in the western ridges that's almost totally flat on top. When I get near it, it makes me feel happy. He smiles. It's so strange, and it's really hard to leave. The first time I went there, I laid on top of it for so long that I almost missed the transport back. I know it's my job, but I haven't told anyone about it yet, he says. I just don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like it wants to be kept a secret. Sounds kind of romantic. An isolated place that makes you feel good? Yeah. Dees blinks at you, like the thought truly hadn't crossed his mind. He frowns. I guess, he says, as if the word tastes bad in his mouth. Dees looks pretty busy, so you say goodbye and let him get back to his work. You'll have to let him keep some of his secrets, for now. You are the best boy. So is Rex. All of you, except Vace. Until later. Alright. We've already done a lot, but now that I have my perception all the way up, I'm going to run out and check out the other two places, hopefully unlock the western ridges, and then we will have a bunch of new gifts and stuff from the other three areas, and then we can go to the ridges next time, and then focus on Rex, Nomi, and Vace, because we need to get their friendships up, and as long as I can gift the others, we could probably keep up with them. They're a little more than ahead on where I want them to be anyway, because it's only year 5, and they're already almost at 60, so we're doing good. So let's do some running around and snatching objects. First, explore nearby. Oh, is this the thumping? Chief Surveyor Utopia stops you in Dees near the depot. Feel that? She asks. You can feel a kind of ominous distant thumping, pulsing regularly through the ground. If you stand still, you can feel it vibrate up into your own body, too, like a massive global pulse. Utopia says, checking a readout on her holopalm. I reckon it's naturally occurring, she concludes, but it's giving me the willies all the same. You two better check it out. Mind you stick together and take readings on the way in case it's dangerous. You and Dees look at each other, excited. You follow the thumping, now an audible noise, growing louder, west, until you've roughly triangulated its location. You know you're getting close, but it sounds like it's coming from all around you, and your instruments aren't precise enough to help. I have 100 perception. You cannot stop me. None of you can stop me. You find a machine? An ancient, broken-down machine, like a small pyramid-shaped building made from some kind of dark stone or a bone that almost looks like it grew that way. Except it isn't broken. It's just so very old and overgrown it looks more like a pile of rubble and roots than a building or engine or whatever it was. Still, a thumping noise comes from inside it. The vibrations are strong here, making your guts feel weird. You don't notice it at first, but there's a curious path on the ground moving away from the machine, a line a half a meter wide where the dirt is a little more worn and bare. It heads off in a straight line to the west, or coming from the west? Could animals have made this path? Or the thumper itself? Analyze the thumper. It's definitely not natural. On some parts of the thumper, you can see what might have been writing once, carved into the not-quite rock. It must be thousands of years old. Whatever part of it still works is deep down in its core. It has a funny smell, too. Sweet like something fermented. Puffs of air come from vents near the top, in time to the thumping. You also note that the animals here are a lot more aggressive than usual. Even the insects buzz more annoyingly overhead. Your scanner registers higher levels of attack pheromones. Whatever's going on, the fauna don't like it either. Eventually, you head back to share your findings with Utopia. Totally an alien civilization, Dees insists. Utopia scratches her head. I suppose, maybe, she says. You said it looks ancient, right? Perhaps there could have been another civ here long ago. We found another signs, but nothing active like this. It seems to be pointing west, or receiving something. She snaps her fingers. There's some right ugly ridge lines out there that have kept us from checking that direction, but we got gliders and motivation. That's half the battle. She makes a note on her holopalm. I'll open up the western ridges for surveyors, she says, and then grins. Who saved that 3 times fast? I'll open up the western resting ridges for surveyors. I'll open up the western resting ridges for surveyors. I'll open up the western resting ridges for surveyors. I did it. Okay, Dees is right. It's definitely aliens. Dees gives you a knowing look, but says nothing. We have seen many things out there, haven't we, Dees? Alright, time to steal stuff. I mean, what? No, what? Egg. You're enjoying a relatively uneventful second sun of taking readings for one of Utopia's geological surveys when you get a sudden premonition. The situation feels strangely familiar. Oh, you need to move now! You jump out of the way just in time to see Sim come crashing through the air where you would have been, grappling with a skyfish almost as big as he is. In the ensuing tussle, they completely crush the delicate scanning equipment you just finished setting up. Utopia is going to be so upset. What the heck was that? You yell at Sim, who just shrugs helplessly while he holds the skyfish at bay. It's a whole damn mess. What's he doing, bare-knuckle boxing a skyfish? Honestly. The skyfish flops around pitifully, then springs back into the sky and flies away, trilling in distress. Didn't even look dangerous, really. Yabby, Sim croaks, and you turn your attention to him. Blood is pouring from a wound on his chest where one of the skyfish's spines must have pierced his otherwise perfect skin. It's the kind of thing that definitely will leave a scar, or worse. Holding the wound closed, Sim smiles sheepishly. I guess my future sight isn't always 20/20. Holy shit, are you going to be okay? He waves dismissively with the hand that's not holding his ding-dang chest together. 'Tis but a flesh wound, he says, and then smiles. Did I say that right? It's from one of your Earth movies. I quite liked it. Did you like the freaking rabbit from that one too? Or the twist at the end? He coughs. He and I are similarly difficult to kill completely. He grins. You think it's just a coincidence that I'm always there at exactly the right time to save you? At night, when I'm asleep, he corrects himself, I sometimes see visions of things that are going to happen, or at least that could happen. My dreams aren't always true, Sim says, wincing as he applies pressure to the wound. The paths branch and converge. Time is more like a web than a line, I think. He smiles weakly. But always in the center, there's you. You're at the center of my web, too. Sim coughs. I'm flattered, Sugarbug. I didn't know you thought of me that way. I've been overtly flirting with you since we met. I can't tell you how this future sight works, Sim continues. To be honest, I don't even know. But if you're curious... He's clearly grappling with something, and not just the sluggishly bleeding wound in his chest. His voice drops. You might look for answers under the light of the wormhole and glow, he confesses. You press him for more, but he simply begs you to leave him to handle his injury in peace. I could go out during glow, because we could do stuff in the Western Ridges. We might, just for extra crystals and stuff. But we'll see. I'll try and unlock it in the Ridges. It'll be a lot easier to move around now that we actually have, like, you know, this perception perk, which is honestly so helpful. I know I could be leveling my skills, but I could also just run around taking things. What's more fun than that? Alright, on to the plains. We'll do some stuff with Nomi. Nomi! When you report for surveying duty, Nomi is there. It's their first day as a surveyor. They smile widely when they see you, smiling exuberantly. Oh, you two know each other already? Utopia says, looking to you, then Nomi. That'll make this easier. Yabby, I'd like you to keep an eye on Nomi while you're out there, Utopia continues. I'm going to assign you to the same regions for the next little while. Just make sure they don't wander off into a nest of snap bladders, okay? Yay! Hooray! Nomi cheers and gives you a high five. As Utopia explains to Nomi and some other new Helios surveyors about the surveying tools, Nomi starts to get bored and wanders a little ways away from the group. You see it happening, but are powerless to stop them from tripping and nearly landing into a nest of hot-eye eggs. They're just about to crash into the delicate spun glass cocoon when Utopia materializes as if out of nowhere and scruffs them by the back of the collar. Nomi, pay attention! Nomi giggles, like they don't even realize the danger of being stampeded by the upset hot-eyes beginning to gather around. Utopia ushers them back to the group before things can get tramply. Nomi asks a million questions about the eggs. Are they edible? Do they have hard shells or soft? What is the cocoon made out of? How long until they hatch? Utopia sighs. Just get out of here, you two, she says, before the cute little varmints turn ugly. Alright, I'm out of here. Oh wait, you were talking about the hop eyes. Alright, sorry. Nomi! You hear Nomi shouting for help nearby. Run over there! You sprint to the sound of distress. Nomi seems to have fallen headfirst into some kind of Nomi-sized flower. Is it eating them? It's engulfed Nomi's upper torso, its petals pulsing as it pulls them down further. You could use your blast cutter to get them out of there, if you could figure out what part of this creature to cut without hurting Nomi. Nomi is struggling, and you hear muffled sounds of distress from inside. You have to try! Save Nomi! You will not kill my friend today! You delicately slice the lyre flower at the underside of the base of its flower, which you guess is the creature's neck. Up close, it actually looks more reptilian than plant-like. Just a little nick, and the creature coughs and convulses. Nomi spills forth in a flood of digestive juices. Ew, 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 yuck, my outfit, stupid flower! Nomi stomps and shakes their fist at the flower, which lurches away on a fat, snake-like body. Nomi is okay. Who has a birthday this month? Mid-dust, early pollen, late pollen! Tammy! It's helpful because you're one of the people with the lowest friendship right now. Oh, you're not Tammy. Oh, goodness. I need to put my glasses back on. I thought I was nearsighted, not farsighted. I got you a birthday present. Flowers on my birthday. How beautiful. She gives you a gigantic hug. Oh! Tammy looks worried. She's hugging herself and pacing around. Every now and then her attention turns sharply towards the east wall. Are you okay, Tammy? She's relieved to see you. There's something out there, she says in a quiet voice. Lots of something. Outside the walls. I think they're far away, but I can hear them. What do they sound like? It's like... She struggles to describe the sound. Squeaking. Super high-pitched. Really long sounds like metal or like a broken Robovac scraping along the floor. Only there are hundreds of them. You shudder at the thought. My dad said he picked these ears as my augmentation to keep me safe, she sniffs. But all they do is make me scared. I hate my stupid ears. She bats them at them with her fist, tears springing into her eyes. It's okay to be scared. She gives you a long, searching look. My dad always says being scared is an opportunity to do something brave, but... You're lucky to have such cool ears. Really? You think so? She lets you lean in close for a good look at her enormous elf-like ears. You wonder what it must be like to have such sensitive hearing. Can she hear the grass growing? Can she hear your heartbeat? Oh, I have an idea. You ask if she's considered noise-canceling sound. The subermal jawbone conducting hearspeak for her holopalm could be calibrated to dampen or block out certain frequencies. She takes a moment to parse what you're saying. Oh, wow. I've never thought of that. I'll try it. I wonder if I'll still feel like me without my special hearing. They're neat? Is this about her ears? Because they're neat. You tell her that with her amazing hearing, she could be a great garrison lookout, or a musician, or a spy. She looks at you dubiously. I don't think I want to be any of those things, but thank you. She smiles. You're a good friend, Abby. Please don't let my dad know. I said I didn't like my ears, she says. Tammy is such a caring girl. It's unfair she has to suffer from her sensitive hearing, but so sweet that she doesn't want to be a burden. She gives you a big, warm hug and says she's going to head inside soon because it's nice and quiet in there. You leave her rubbing one of her ears thoughtfully. Well, at least we were able to help her a little bit. Oh! You spot Tang sitting on a large boulder outside the lab. She's eating a pressed soy bar ration with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops her grim work long enough to acknowledge your question. I hit the limit on number of consecutive hours they'll allow me to work in the lab, she says. So I'm taking a break, she says, mocking air quotes around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Tang replies. They just think they can boss me around because I'm younger. She scoffs. I'm smarter than any two of them combined. Ugh, Tang groans and rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know? So frustrating to be deep in the zone and feeling like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me that apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong here, the way Dr. Instance does, Tang mutters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous that she likes me more. Tang slides off the boulder, and you see the color bleed from her face as she stumbles into you, nearly crumpling to the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over while the dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially after taking into account the time required to walk to the cafeteria. She trails off, realizing she's clutching your jacket and pushes you away. My apologies, she says, brushing herself off. I am, regrettably it seems, only human. Tang scrubs her hands over her face. Oh, sometimes it feels like I'm a prisoner trapped in my own body. Like I can feel myself trapped in it. The stinking, sweating bag of meat and bad impulses, stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life, and... Her voice breaks. Are you crying? Tang scowls and wipes her eyes angrily. Reflexive lacrimation is an evolutionary response to emotional and physical stress, she snaps. In other words, no, I'm not crying. It's just... this resentment for my physical form. It reminds me of when I was little, and Instance used the gene tech to give me this body, the right body. Only, this body's wrong too, she adds quietly. It's right in a lot of the ways, but it's still imperfect. It's still human. If I were an AI, everything would be more simple. I could just do my work. I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions, just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this, Tang sniffles. I hate feeling like this. This reminds me again of what we were talking about in the comments of the last video. Someone brought this up. Yeah, Nev for the win brought this up. That Tang, probably just like Dees, would love to be a gardener, probably. Because then she would get to be an AI like she wants. She could just do her work. And if anything happens, she can just reform like the other ones. But she doesn't get that opportunity. I wonder if she would take it if given the option. I think she would. Most likely. It's just another way, like Nev said, that they're so different and yet so same at the same time, even if they don't realize it. I'm always here to listen, Tang. Tangent manages a watery smile as she wipes her eyes. Thanks, she says. I apologize for being all wet on you. It won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket, then takes a deep breath and holds it for 10 seconds, her eyes closed. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing has happened. You admire Tangent's determination, but sometimes you think it might come at a price. Alright, back outside. Just one more run and then we can go to the Western Ridges next time. Alright, I believe that's everything here. We got a very good haul, and now we're going to be able to do this every year. That'll help a lot. And now that it's dusk and we are about to have our first Virtunalia with the new people, I'm going to end this episode here. It is already way longer than I thought it was going to be, but we did have a lot of talking to get through. And next time we'll probably have a little bit more, especially as we try and raise the friendship of everyone else. It looks like right now Vace is still the lowest, but we can probably start working on that. I'm probably going to do combat, try and do something with Rex if we can, but as long as we're able to give him mushwood and give him hugs, it should be a little easier. Because we don't have the bar open yet, but as soon as we get that open, we'll get more friendship with him. And with Nomi, we'll just continue gifting them stuff and hope we can hopefully soon. We could probably study engineering with them. Or the photophoner, we could do that too, and that would raise our creativity. We'll see what we can do. But until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, abuse your Perception 100 skill, and have a good day.